Hey guys, it's Mark Holthe here. I am streaming live on the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel. And this is something that I've been experimenting with a little bit. I have done a lot of videos on my Express Entry Law private Facebook group. And I've done those videos for probably, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 years now. I can't even remember when I did the first one. But when Facebook created the ability to do live videos, I decided, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this. And one of the reasons that I did that was because I wanted to have the ability to show people what I knew, as opposed to, well, there's a lot of fancy websites out there. There's a lot of people with slick marketing campaigns. And the reality is, how do you know whether someone actually knows what they're talking about or not? And even with YouTube videos, the recorded ones can be completely scripted. So if you, as a person who needs help with your Canadian immigration, goes online to try to find a representative to help you, or some place where you could get information that you can trust and you can actually rely on, it's really hard to tell the difference. So I started doing these live videos because you can't fake it. You cannot fake your knowledge of immigration. And so there's tons of reps out there, tons of consultants, tons of agents with their own YouTube channels and everything that are posting all kinds of information. But in all honesty, you as a consumer or you as a client really don't know one way or another whether it's actually information that you can trust, or whether that person even knows what they're talking about, or whether they're just some actor with a fancy video. So the beauty of this YouTube that's live now is that I can go on and I can take a few minutes, which I'm doing right now, to give back to all of you guys. So I can see that there are 3 people that are watching right now. This is completely unannounced, unscheduled, unprogrammed, but anyone who watches this video right now and has questions that they want me to answer, I've got a few minutes. I'm going to take 15 minutes to answer any questions that you have about immigration. And guess what the cost is going to be? 100% free, because that's what I do. I love doing this. And as you watch many of the videos on this channel, you'll see that I was a Canadian immigration officer at one time in my career. I was a former high school teacher. And I take those 2 passions and I blend them together with what I absolutely love doing right now, and that's being a Canadian immigration lawyer. And what I'm really excited about is finding ways to get my message out to the whole world. And never before have I experimented with, what do you call it? I guess clickbait, is that what you call it? And I see Yasin from Morocco. Good to have you join me, my friend. If you have any questions about immigration, post them right here in the comment section and I'll answer those live. But as we get to it, I've been experimenting with social media, and I never appreciated before how much an image affects whether or not people are actually going to click and listen. And I know the content in all of these videos is awesome. I open up my heart and soul. I share every tip, every strategy, every piece of information I can in my almost 15, well, is it 15 years? I guess it is over 15 years of practice within the industry of immigration in Canada. And as a Canadian immigration lawyer, well, it's totally counterintuitive for me to be giving this away for free. But the reality is, I love doing it. And obviously, one of the side effects is that people know and trust me and get a chance to see that I actually know what I'm talking about. It's not just, like I said, some slick marketing campaign. So as I jump on and do these live videos, the exciting part for me is having you guys post your comments and knowing exactly where to find that answer for you. Maybe an answer that you'd have to pay someone, hundreds of dollars to get, at least someone you can trust, because everybody knows there are tons of people out there so willing to offer helpful information about immigration, when in reality, you probably know more than they do. And one of the biggest, most devastating things for me is when someone does their own application and then they decide that because they did it and were successful, they're now the expert on immigration. And you guys all trust them. Well, the reality is they may have done something that was completely wrong, but the immigration officer didn't catch it, Or maybe they put something different in their application than what they should have, which would have resulted in a rejection. And now they figure their pathway and how they did it works for everybody else. And I see it a lot. And then someone follows the pattern that they did, which is not based on law, it's not based on the regulations, any of the Canadian regulations. It's not based on immigration policy. It's just based on their experience. And people follow them, they follow their path, and then they get their application rejected because another officer is paying more closer attention. So why do I do this? I do it because I actually want to help. And it's interesting. I'll show you the YouTube channel and you guys can see it. So the other day, I had tons of people that were asking questions about, and I'll just go straight here to the video section, then you guys can see everything. They were asking questions about whether or not Express Entry was going to shut down in 2020. And there's this rumor going on that somehow it's going to happen. And obviously these videos, you guys can see, you know, I try to put a little bit of a title or something that's kind of catchy, but I've never experimented with images. And so I thought to myself, holy cow, everybody thinks the world is going to come to an end. And I thought, you know what is, you know, the best thing in the world I could do is try to put some catchy image that would result in people wanting to click on it. Now, some people call it clickbait, I guess, but the reality is, so I created this image, and I'll go back to my main screen and you guys can see it. So I created this image here. There's Express Entry doomed in 2020. And I tried to take a picture of myself. I'm way over here. I tried to take a picture of myself just like this, but the problem was it was just too light and it didn't merge very well with this fancy picture that I got. And so what I did was I went downstairs into the basement of my office, shut all the lights off in the washroom, and and I took a bunch of pictures trying to get the right angle, and it was hilarious. And so you know, is Express Entry doomed in 2020? That was the whole image. And the reality is many people thought that was the case. And so my very first lead question for this video, at least that I did 2 days ago, was answering that, confirming that no, it's not coming to an end, and this is why, right, from my experience. And so at the end of the day, I was blown away. So you guys can see the views, how many people watch the other videos, and because it's not this, you know, crazy image that pulls people in, only those dedicated followers who know the true content actually click on it and watch. And so when I did this one, you can see I have, you know, 2,200 views in 2 days. Whereas in the past, maybe I'd have maybe about 500 views in 3 weeks. So it's interesting. So I guess I better start thinking about being more creative with my images. But I'm not a graphic designer. I'm a lawyer. I produce awesome content that if people actually went to this page, my Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, and if they actually scrolled through, and you can see I've got a bunch of other stuff in here from other courses. This isn't actually your view. This is kind of my view. But you can see some of these are unlisted because I make them only available to subscribers of my courses, my Express Entry Do-It-Yourself Guide, my Labor Market Impact Assessment courses, and like I said, I'm finishing a whole bunch of other ones. But look at all these. If people had any clue, if they just looked, everything is in here. And this is worth, like, when it comes to my time and people engaging me, it would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in information, tips, strategies, guidance, all those kinds of things. But this is what I love to do. And so I guess if it takes an image like, if it takes me creating an image like this to get people to actually listen to it, and yes, I answered the question, I showed, I explained, I demonstrated, and it's awesome. But then I went on to answer all the listeners' questions. So those of you who are watching, thanks for posting the questions, and I'm going to go up to the top here and I'm going to answer the people that are tuned in live right now. But that's what this is all about. That's what this Canadian Immigration Institute is all about. It's about coming to get your questions answered. And, some of the questions will be so specific that they're only beneficial for the person asking them, and they're actually akin to legal advice. So anything that relates specifically to you and isn't of general applicability to everyone else, then I don't answer those. But people that are tuning in and are asking questions that I know are beneficial to the hundreds of thousands of other people, and I'm well over 500,000 views on my channel here, but if people have questions that are of general nature, then it's awesome because I can answer them once and they can be amplified to thousands of people. And if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos, another one of my motivating factors was people who would come to me and they would come and book a consultation, and they'd come and I'd look at their situation and I'd realize that they'd already tried to do it themselves, but because they waited so long to come to see me, there was nothing I could do. So I started my Canadian Immigration podcast. I started this Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, my Facebook Express Entry Law private Facebook group, so I could give information out well in advance, so if people followed it, they could protect themselves from falling into the same traps that I saw people fall into over and over and over and over again. So that's what's motivating this guy. That's what's pushing Mark Holthe to do this. And, it's not enough for me to just do this. I love helping just on a national level. And that's why I joined the Canadian Bar Association's immigration section when I first started practicing immigration law, in fact. And I've been involved with it for so many years. And I have the privilege right now of serving as the vice chair over our National Canadian Bar Association's immigration section. And next year I'll be the chapter chair over all of the lawyers across the country. So Gloria, how are you doing, Gloria? All right, so let's jump in and let's start answering people's questions, okay? And remember, what's the cost? Well, the cost is your time and mine. And I choose to give it freely. And that's why I'm doing this. Okay, Effie's music. Effie, do you have any music that you can post? I would love to highlight some music on the YouTube channel, but because of the popular music, it's impossible to get licensing rights. Effie, if you've got some music, send me a track and I'll play some in one of my videos. It would be so fun. Use it as an intro. Okay, so here's Effie's question. Hi, Mark. Is a rightful reference work letter enough for express entry? Mine has all the requirements, and that's all I submitted since I got paid by wire transfers 7 years ago, so I don't have pay slips. Well, Effie, that's a great question. And I follow the instructions of immigration explicitly. So if you go, and I'm going to type in here, I'm going to show you something here. Let's see if I can find it. And then I'll share my screen. All right. So I think many of you know this is the place where you can go to get instructions on what your documents need to look at or need to look like. And this is where the immigration officers base their decisions upon when they are assessing whether or not your document works. So if we go here to work, I think I clicked on the wrong button. Okay, so if we go here, I click on work. Now it's starting to play here. I better stop this. It looks like I opened up a different one by accident. So if you look here, work experience, you can see that what they're asking for, the following documents are mandatory. And you can see here, reference or experience letter. Do you see anything else here? Well, if you're in Canada, it says you should include maybe your T4s, notices of assessment from Canada Revenue Agency, and I can tell you, but that's it. If you go to your own personalized document checklist, Effie, you will see that it says the reference letter, exactly as it's listed here. You need to include job title, duties, responsibilities, job status, dates worked for the company, number of work hours per week, annual salary plus benefits. You can see it's all there. And if your letter is perfect and it has all that, then you're in really good shape. And you'll see in your personalized document checklist, it also says pay stubs if available. Well, that's discretionary. But what it comes down to is whether or not your company is easily found. So if an immigration officer wanted to, search it out and find it, would they be able to locate your company and easily verify the information without having to phone call or do something like that? What does your LinkedIn profile say? What does, does the company have a website? Are you even listed on the website? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just a regular employee. Maybe you worked 7 years ago. That's all okay. But you don't have to necessarily provide, pay slips or things like that if you don't have them. All right. So hopefully that helped, Effie. And send me some music. Send it to Mark Holthe at, let's see, Mark Holthe at stringham.ca. I think I even have my email here. There it is. Send it right there. Send me an email with a link to some music that you've done. I'd love to promote it. Awesome. Okay, and I'm just assuming, given the fact it says Effie's music, that maybe, and because I see you have a guitar or something there, that maybe you do play music. If not, and I'm wrong, well, okay then, I guess you won't send me anything. Okay, let's see what we have here. Lo Simpson says, that's a nice image. Keep doing your videos. Thanks so much. Okay, Yassine says, I need your help. I received an ITA yesterday. That is awesome. Congratulations. That is so cool. Okay, let's see. Should I reject it until I get the donation from my father? 50% of the proof of funds and the notarized document. We are willing to make it next week. Thank you very much. Okay, Yassine, there's a lot of factors going on here. Whether or not you choose to use a gift deed or not is entirely up to you. But remember, okay, remember that in your profile, you indicated how much money you had to support yourself. And I always ask my clients this. Yes, you can add more, you can get support from family, whatever it is, but you put the amount of money in your profile that you said you have. And so the question is, do you have it? If you didn't, then, well, we would have to cross that bridge later. Ultimately, the information you put into your profile becomes a part of your application. So providing a gift deed, you may say, well, I put that money in because I knew I was going to be getting the money from my father. And that may be the answer, and it's totally okay. But when it comes to a gift deed, it doesn't have to be in your account before you get an ITA. There should be no reason, in why you wouldn't be able to proceed forward. Now, obviously, it would probably help me if I had a little bit more information. But ultimately, gift deeds that are issued a week before you submit your EAPR, gift deeds that were issued 5 months before or 6 months before, they're still valid as long as they meet the definition of an actual gift deed. All right, good question. This is going to be a quick one, guys, and I know there's not a lot of you that are tuning in here, so I just wanted to give back a couple free ones and some information to help you guys, and just give back, because this group, I'm just about, I don't know, what are we at here? If we look at the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, if I go here, I'm gonna just see if I can find the page. Is that it? This is it. Look at this. We're just about up to 16,000 subscribers. And like I said, this last video that I did has already 2.2 Ks, 2.2 thousand views. 2,231 is actually what it is. And so when those things happen and people show enough faith in me, then I want to give back. It's only natural, right? So, all right, let's see what we got here. Next question. Okay. Lo Simpson says, Lois Simpsons, what is your real name? That's what I want to know. I love you guys have different, I guess, profile names or whatever in your social media world. Okay, I'm landing in Canada this 23rd via Federal Skilled Worker Program, Express Entry. My process was hassle-free thanks to your videos. By the way, I'm a Mexican lawyer. I didn't know that you had used my videos. Do you know what? Who are you? Did we connect before? I would love to connect with you. So you definitely have to send me a message, either through Facebook or through here. I showed you my email there. I posted that. So I'd love to connect with you. Obviously, you've been following for a while. I've seen you. But congratulations. You know what? Here's what I'm thinking of doing. So my daughter, who's turning 14, she watches so much YouTube. Now, I've been able to wean her off a little bit. She's reading books again and doing productive things, which is good. But she tells me all the time about what I need to be doing with my YouTube channel. She's giving me all these ideas on merch, which apparently there's this overpowering need to shorten every single word in the English language when it comes to anything social related. And so merchandise or merch, she said, you need to get a t-shirt, Dad, or hats that you can sell on your YouTube channel. Well, I was actually thinking that it would be so awesome, not to sell necessarily, I guess if people wanted them, but would to create t-shirts that said, I'm a graduate of the Canadian Immigration Institute, and or hats or something, yeah, I survived this crazy world of express entry, right? Something like that. That's kind of fun. So anyways, so my daughter is officially my social media advisor, I guess. So I'm going to be experimenting with a lot of things on YouTube. It just seems like there's more things I can do here than with Facebook. Now, remember, every Tuesday at noon, I do my Express Entry Live Q&As on Facebook. So you can also go there. This is really new. I haven't done a lot of this on YouTube. And why? Well, because sometimes, in my Express Entry Law private Facebook group, originally when I started, agents and consultants would come in and start spamming and start mining for clients and things like that. And it was never intended for that purpose. And so because of that, I made it private. And it's kind of crazy to think that a private Facebook group is like almost $125,000. $25,000. Oh boy, it's time to go home. 125,000 members. But it's become so unwieldy that I can't do anything with it. And when I post things, it doesn't show to everybody. So I've moved over to my Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page, which is much easier for notifications for people, for having them, give them the ability to share the videos. And that's what I want. I want this message. I want this free stuff sent as far across this whole world so that every single person in the world knows that the Canadian Immigration Institute is a source of information you can trust, not some generic website with helpful people, and they are helpful, but who don't rely on law or policy to govern their decision making. They go on experience, which things change, laws change. You may have just got lucky because an officer didn't realize that what you submitted was wrong. All right, I've beaten that one to death like I always do. All right, let's shift back and answer some more questions. But Los Simpsons, I am super excited for you. All right, let's see. Okay, Christopher Marsh. Okay, Christopher says, how long can processing times be after you submit your ITA documents? And if you were an AINP nomination? Christopher, you were an Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program nomination? Very cool, very cool. Processing times? Well, once it goes into the express entry queue, once you filed your EAPR, which it seems like, after you submit your ITA documents, I'm assuming you mean your EAPR, after you've got your invitation to apply, the government says 80% are processed in 6 months. Now, I'll let you in on a little secret. We are starting to see it climb up a bit. So we are seeing some of our clients start to extend past 6 months. So don't be alarmed. Remember what I think I was telling you guys in that video, which you guys, if you haven't watched it, you better go watch it because it was freaking awesome. Okay, this one here, is express entry doomed? Let me go back. And that's the question that was asked. Why did I name it Is Express Entry Doomed? This one right here. It's because, I wonder if I can blow this up so you guys can see it bigger. Yeah, there it is. Oh, hey, there we go. Now you can see my screen. So this one right here, you can see that it's got the 2.2 thousand views 2 days ago. That was the question that someone asked me. Is Express Entry doomed in 2020? So it's not like I was creating some clickbait, I think is what they call it. Like that's what the question was asked. I just added the exploding bomb and me with my own selfie picture. I actually thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, so in those days, the processing times for all of the federal skilled worker program applications, hardly any of them were processed within 2 years, let alone 6 months. So if you have to stretch to 7 months, hang in there. It was way worse before. And really, when you think about it, tell me how many other countries can have someone who has no connection with the country get permanent residence in under 6 months or even 7 months. Very few. And I guess that's what makes Canada so popular. All right. Let's see what we have here. Gloria says, yes, hello from Panama. Hi, Gloria. Paramita says, hi, I'm from Indonesia here. Welcome. Welcome, Paramita. This is fun because this is just live, right? People pop in, people bounce out, people pop in. So, all right, we'll answer a few more questions and then I've got to go home, all right? And I'll try to spread them out. So we'll go with N and D next. It says, hi, Mark. So last year, the total number of ITAs issued were around 89,000, whereas the target was 79,000. I know all the extra ITA accounts for rejection, fake profiles, etc. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what the question is. And indeed, I don't know what your question is on that one. Okay, maybe restate it. Okay, Yassine says, is a reference letter signed by my manager and the job contract enough? Or should I also provide last month's pay slips? I already have. I don't want to complicate my application. Well, if you feel, and this is how I do it, like this is based on experience. There's no guidance, there's no instructions, there's nothing telling anyone how much or how little information they should put in above and beyond what Express Entry specifically asks for. Well, the way I look at it, if you are coming from a country where routinely people submit fraudulent employment letters, then yeah, I'm gonna go to a greater length to prove it. So let's say I'm applying from India, and my work experience is with a small little shop where there's maybe one or two other people working there. The company doesn't have a website, and they don't really have much of an online presence at all. You can't really search too much and find them. Well, I can tell you that I'm probably not just going to put a reference letter in and leave it at that. I am actually going to go to whatever lengths I need to add other information to support. Now, if I had a client who was coming from Canada and they worked for a very well recognized company, then maybe all I'll include is the reference letter and that's it. But it really depends upon where you're coming from, the status and the situation in your country, and yeah, and it comes from experience. So, all right. Okay, Effie says, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. You make me want to pay it forward. Effie, do you have music? Do you have music? I'd love for you to share some music with me. And you know what? The reality is, even if you got music from your home country and you want to share it, maybe that's something else that I could use as a lead in on all of these videos. I've never really tried to play music, but that would be fun. Let's make this better collectively. All right, because there's always that kind of dead period where I'm talking to myself and I see that there's no one watching yet. And I know that the only people that are going to see it are those who watch it as a rerun. Holy cow, it's just about 28 minutes, 6:40. Oh, guys, I need to go. I am so sorry. I'm going to have to close this one off. I know many of you have posted comments. There's others here that haven't had a chance. Oh, Los Simpson says, Roberto, what's your email? Yeah, sorry, I'm so distracted. This is what happens when you're like the person producing the content. You've got no one behind you supporting or watching or whatever. Here's my email address there. Anyway, so I promised my wife that I would only be here for just about 15 more minutes. I just wanted to do a quick little video. My wife hasn't been feeling very well. She's been battling a cold. And one of our friends invited us to go out for dinner tonight with them. And I said, well, my wife's not feeling very good. She's kind of sick. And this is the kind of friends you guys need to have. He said, oh, don't worry, Carly, she's making some homemade chicken soup. She's going to bring it over before 6 o'clock. Guys, it's 6:40. 6:40. I'm not even going to get the warm soup. But that's the kind of friends you surround yourself with. Ones that are selfless and giving. And if you can formulate your life around those principles, I can tell you, you're going to make a positive influence, not only for the friends that you associate with, but in this world. So that's my goal. All right, so I have to shut this down, but I'm so sorry. It looks like Ralph says, I just saw you and called you Uncle Mark. Ralph, you rule. You are the awesomest ever. All right, well, I better shut this down, but I think I'm going to do more of these. Just jump on periodically, and whoever's watching, maybe before I go home, in the evenings after work, wherever I can kind of squeeze it in. You saw some of those other videos that were kind of weird in my house. I was experimenting trying to do a live stream there, but hey, and maybe even my phone. that would work too when I get it back. 3 more days, I think. All right, I better shut this down. Take care, guys. It was fun answering questions. I love it. Stay tuned, like and subscribe the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, and I think maybe it'll give you a notification when I go live again. I guess we'll see. I'm still figuring this out. Take care. See you guys later.